In the last lecture, we have seen the two types of cathodic protection, that is by using sacrificial anode or by using external DC current, that is impressed current. Also, we have seen the anodic protection, that is passivation of metal, and the difference between them. Now we will see in today's lecture the application of metallic coatings. We can apply the metal on the base metal to be protected, or we can apply the non-metallic material on the base metal to be protected from corrosion. So we have two types of coating, metallic and non-metallic coatings. But today we will discuss the application of metal on the surface of another metal, that is metallic coatings. Here we will define the two terms, the metal to be protected from corrosion as the base metal and the metal which is applied to protect the base metal as the coating metal. So we will use the term the base metal and the coating metal. Before applying the metallic coatings, we have to clean the surface of the base metal, and the process is known as surface treatment. Now what is done in the surface treatment? We have to clean the base metal before applying the metallic coating on it in order to get the more durable and effective coating. And the steps involved in the surface treatment are: first is solvent cleaning. It is done to remove oily or greasy matter from the surface of base metal by using organic solvents or detergents. Next is alkali cleaning. These are used to remove old paint coatings, some type of rust by using alkali solution or Na3PO4 solution followed by acid cleaning. Next type of surface treatment is mechanical cleaning, in which we can remove the rust, scale, etc. by using the wire brush, bristles, abrasives, scrapers, grinders, etc. That is by any mechanical mean. One more method is the flame cleaning. Flame is used, burner is used to remove the loosely held scales and moisture from the metal surface, followed by wire brushing. Another method also is possible, sandblasting. It is used to remove oxide scale when rough surface is required. The operation consists of applying the high pressure sand on the hot surface and pickling. After removing maximum impurities from the metal surface, it is dipped in a bath of the dilute H2SO4 or HNO3 to remove the last trace amount of impurities, if any. So before applying the coating of metal on the surface of base metal, the surface treatment is necessary. Out of all these steps, maximum steps are used as per the type of impurities present on the metal surface. Now we will see the two types of the metallic coatings. The metallic coatings can be anodic in nature or can be cathodic in nature. Already we have discussed repeatedly, I am repeating this Nernst theorem so that you will remember all the concepts in the corrosion, that when any two elements or metals are in contact with each other in presence of suitable conducting medium, the metal which is placed relatively at a higher position in the galvanic series is more active. It acts as anode and get corroded, whereas the metal placed relatively at a lower position is chemically less active, acts as cathode and get protected from corrosion. So when we apply the coating of the metal which is more active to the base metal, it is called as anodic coating. For example, coating of zinc, aluminum, chromium, etc. But when we apply the coating of less active metal on the base metal, then it is called as cathodic coating. For example, tin on steel, silver on AU, or silver or Au on brass, etc. Now, out of these two, which one is better and why? Anodic coatings are always better because if they will protect the base metal as long as this coating is intact, and also when pores or cracks are developed in the coating layer, because they are anodic to the base metal. But cathodic coatings, they will protect the base metal only as long as the coating layer is intact. But if some pores or cracks are developed in it, then the base metal is exposed to the air, and the corrosion of base metal continues at a faster rate than when no coating was applied, and therefore anodic coatings are preferred over the cathodic coatings. Now again we will take the reference of the galvanic series for various metallic elements and their alloys. The elements which are placed at the top, they are more active or anodic, and they show higher tendency for the corrosion, whereas those which are placed relatively at a lower position like AU, AG, PT, PD, they are they are more resistant to the corrosion, and therefore their cost is very high, as I have explained you earlier. So all the metallic elements which are placed at a higher position are less resistant to the corrosion, they are anodic, whereas those who are at the base are more resistant to the corrosion, and they resist the corrosion, they are cathodic in nature. These are the some of the examples. Now, methods of applying the metallic coatings. There are several methods by which we can apply the coating of one metal on the surface of another metal to protect it from corrosion. These methods are hot dipping. Hot dipping are further of two types, galvanizing and tinning. Then second method is electroplating, third is metal cladding, fourth is cementation, and fifth is electrolysis or immersion plating. Now we will see one by one. Hot dipping means the base metal article is dipped in the molten mass of the coating metal, and therefore the method is referred as the hot dipping method. There are two ways by which hot dipping method is carried out depending on which is the coating layer. If the we will apply the zinc on the surface of the iron, then it is galvanizing, and if we apply the tin on iron, it is tinning. In both the cases, the base metal is dipped in the molten mass, but whenever we dip the base metal article in the molten mass, always we have to cover the surface of the molten mass with some material to prevent, with some flux to prevent its oxidation during the operation. So in hot dipping, we are going to protect the base metal, which is the iron or steel, by applying the layer of zinc on it. As we know that the zinc is placed above the iron or steel in the galvanic series, it is a type of anodic coating. This is a particular diagram used for the galvanizing process. So we have to carry out first the surface treatment, and then we have to dip it in the molten mass of the zinc at a temperature of 425 to 430 degrees Celsius for a period depending from the few minutes to several hours depending on the thickness of coating layer required. If the thickness should be less in a, then few minutes may be sufficient. If the thickness of the coating layer should be more, it may require the dipping for 3 to 4 hours. In this case, the molten mass of the zinc maintained at 425 to 430 degrees Celsius, which is above the melting point of the zinc, is taken in the container, and the surface is covered with the flux of zinc and ammonium chloride. So it is dipped in it for a period, as I have said, and then it is passed through a pair of hot rollers as shown in the diagram to remove the excess zinc or to get the uniform coating of the zinc, and then it is cooled to the room temperature. This process is known as galvanizing, and since it is anodic coating, the zinc will protect the iron or steel as long as it is intact, but also when some pores or cracks will get developed in it. So we will summarize this method as the process of coating zinc on iron or steel as a base metal by hot dipping to prevent the corrosion is called as galvanizing. The steps involved in the process are: metal is degreased with organic solvent to remove the surface impurities. Metal to be coated is cleaned with in dilute H2SO4 for 15 to 20 minutes at 70 to 90 degrees Celsius, which we have called it as the pickling process, and then it is rinsed with water and dried to room temperature. After the surface treatment is there, then we have to carry out the galvanizing process. The metal article is dipped in molten zinc at 425 to 430 degrees Celsius. The surface of bath is covered with flux of the NH4Cl zinc. Flux cleans surface of metal for better adhesion and prevent oxidation. Then the article is passed through the pair of hot rollers to remove excess zinc and produce uniform coating. Then it is slowly cooled, which is called as annealing, uh, to room temperature. Then next is the tinning process, in which this is the diagram of the galvanizing again, which we have seen here. The iron sheet is there, flux is there, NH4Cl, molten zinc is there, pair of hot rollers is there to remove the excess zinc, and the process is done. Now, what are the advantages of this galvanizing? It is the anodic in nature, so it protects the base metal as long as it is intact, and also when some pores or cracks are developed in it. But one limitation is that we cannot store the food stuff in the galvanized container because the organic matter in the foodstuff readily combines with the zinc to produce the harmful or poisonous stuff, and hence it is not desirable to use the galvanized container to store the foodstuff. That is the limitation of the galvanizing. But we can use the galvanizing process in the trunks, water tanks, etc. Now, second method, we will see what is meant by tinning. So it is the second type of hot dipping method in which the tin is applied on the surface of the iron or steel to protect it from the corrosion. So iron or steel is our base metal and tin is our coating layer. Since the tin is placed below the iron or steel in the galvanic series, it is a type of cathodic coating. All these terms are very much important for MCQ question. So tinning is a cathodic coating, whereas galvanizing was the anodic coating. So here we have the tank in which in one container in there are two compartments. In one, both the compartments molten tin is taken, but in one compartment it is covered with the flux, and in another compartment it is covered with the palm oil. Flux as well as palm oil both prevents the oxidation at the high temperature. The melting point of tin is below 240, so molten tin is maintained at 240 or little above, so that the molten mass can be applied on the surface of base metal. Again, the period for which it is dipped depends on the thickness of the coating layer required, ranging from few minutes to several hours. So here the steel sheet or iron sheet which needs to be protected is cleaned first by surface treatment. It is dipped in the first compartment in which the molten tin is covered with the flux. Then it is taken to the second where it is covered with the molten tin surface is covered with palm oil. Then it is passed through a pair of hot roller to remove the excess of tin, and then the tinning is done. So we will study again what is the definition of tinning. The process of coating tin on iron or steel as a base metal by hot dipping to prevent the corrosion. What are the steps in tinning process? Metal is degreased with organic solvent to remove oxide scale rust from the metal surface as already discussed in the surface treatment. Then it is pickled in the bath of dilute H2SO4 for 15 to 20 minutes at 70 to 90 degrees Celsius, followed by rinsed with water and dried to the room temperature. After the surface treatment is done, next step is metal is immersed in a flux with ZnCl2 and NH4Cl. Flux cleans the surface of metal for better adhesion and prevent oxidation. Metal article is dipped in molten tin at 240 degrees Celsius, which is above the melting point of the molten tin, then passed through the palm oil. Palm oil protects the hot tin coated from oxidation, then pass through pair of hot rollers to remove excess tin and produce uniform coating. Again, here the same diagram for the revision it is given. Now the metal cladding. Metal cladding is another method in which the base metal may be cladded or coated with another metal on only one side or on both the side, and this method is called as metal cladding. So Alclad, which is used for in the aeroplane, is an example of metal cladding. So in which case the base metal is cladded with the coating layer on one or other side and then pass through a pair of hot rollers, so the coating layer get merged with the base metal and you get the cladded metal. The uppermost layer of the cladded metal will be rich in the coating metal, whereas the as we go to the bulk, it will be rich in the percentage of base metal. So this is the metal cladding used in the Alclad is used in the aeroplane body. What is the process? Here, the base metal is sandwiched between the sheets of cladding metal. Clad metal may be copper, silver, aluminum, or chromium, and base metal, which is to be protected, may be mild steel or brass. Application: steel tabletops or SS clad on mild steel. The examples of the metal cladding: aircraft grade duralium, which is a cladded material. Now next method is cementation. Here the base metal is there, which is cemented with the powder of the coating metal at a high temperature. The base metal, the few layer thickness is applied by cementation. It is a alloy or cementation coat which is richer in the coating metal and the poor in base metal, the particular layer, and the bulk of the base metal will be rich in the base metal. It is the cementation method. Process. The process, here the base metal is packed in a powder of coating metal heated at temperature below the melting point of the component elements. Alloy of two metal forms by diffusion of coating metal into base metal. Coatings are strong and have good abrasion resistance. Application of this method for base metal as steel. For base metal as steel, small articles like nuts, bolts, screws, spanners, etc., which are used in the hardware. Next method is Sherardising. In Sherardising, the small hardware articles like bolts, nuts, etc., they are taken in the roller, which is a container which is kept rotating with a high speed at a high temperature, and that container is always having the metal which is the coating metal in powder form, and this rotor this particular container is sealed and kept rotating. As a result, the coating metal get fused with the base metal, and then the base metal is protected from the corrosion. This particular method is known as Sherardising. It is used in the method such as the protection of bolts, nuts, screws, etc. Now, metal spraying. We can, the process of coating a metal in molten state on a rough surface of a base metal with the help of spraying gun or pistol is called as metal spraying. The process is, it consists of a duct for oxyacetylene gas as shown in the diagram in it and provision of compressed air. Coating metal wire of low melting point, such as zinc, tin, etc., is fed into the gun. At high temperature, metal wire melts come out as spray, which is directed on clean metal surface, and then it is done. Next is the electroplating. It is commonly used in the automobile industry. The well-known examples of electroplating are nickel plating, chromium plating, etc. So when the coating metal is plated over the base metal to protect it from the corrosion, then it is called as electroplating by applying the external current. The particular arrangement required here, it requires the electrolytic solution with the coating metal work functioning as anode, and the base metal as which is to be plated is the cathode, and they are connected to the battery, and as a result the electron will move from the coating metal to the base metal or the the metal to be plated, and the metallic ion of the coating metal will travel through the electrolyte solution to the metal to be plated. So electron coming from the external circuit and the positively charged ion coming through the electrolyte solution, they combine with each other and they will form the neutral atom of the coating metal on the surface of the metal to be protected, and this type of method is called as electroplating. Now, at cathode, as usual, there is a process of reduction. Well-known example, as I have said, the silver plating, chromium plating, nickel plating, and mainly it finds the application in the automobile industry, in refrigeration, etc. At cathode, if it is a chromium coating, it will uh, gain electron coming from the anode. It will form a chromium neutral atom. If the silver is there, it will gain the electron, silver atom, neutral atom, or nickel neutral atom. At anode, the chromium will lose the electron and they will travel from anode to cathode, and neutral atom which are formed at cathode will get deposited on the metal to be plated or to be protected from corrosion, and thus the electroplating will occur. The advantages: coating thickness can be controlled. Plating can be done on a article of any shape and can be applied on the surface of plastic, glass, printed circuit board, etc. These are the advantages. Application, it provides the corrosion protection. It enhances the aesthetic look of the metal. Plating of plastic, glass or PCB is possible to get conducting surface. So basically plastic, glass are non-conducting. We can convert them into conducting surfaces. So we will see up to this in today's lecture. We will discuss the electroless or immersion plating in the next class.